outside of it. They buy drugs, often using them in their cars before driving impaired through our narrow streets where our young children play. Sometimes these drivers lose consciousness behind the wheel. Without the backyards of less dense areas, our children have few safe places to play. The city operates neighborhood parks, yet the needles that carpet the grass, along with human waste and the presence of people intoxicated on opioids, cocaine, methamphetamine, and K2, make these places risky to go. I have watched block after block become impassable without meeting the discerning eye of young men lured into a pyramid scheme of drug dealing, chasing riches that won't appear and using threats of violence to stake out their territory against dealers and residents alike. I have spoken with social service providers who cannot park near these blocks anymore to assist their clients, having been told by these same dealers that their presence is a threat. The boss says they look like police. Many people will talk about I-95, the presence of the L-stops in the neighborhood, and the past abundance of abandoned factories and homes as the natural causes of Kensington becoming the site of more than 50 separate open-air drug markets at a time, with people spending hundreds of millions of dollars here per year. But it's not as if Kensington is home to rolling fields of poppies being processed into heroin, and any attempts to find natural causes is doomed to failure. Plenty of other neighborhoods near transit and highway stops have struggled with abandoned properties without also containing the largest open-air drug market on the East Coast. The market is here because it is highly convenient for so many to contain the problem here, far away from affluent, white areas whose residents have historically driven in to buy drugs, use them, and leave. And my black and brown neighbors have been told, both implicitly and explicitly, that the accompanying violence and community destruction inherent in open-air drug markets is their burden to bear, and that the well-being of themselves and their families simply don't matter. Let's be clear, the highly successful containment effort in Kensington is systemic racism in action. Those with the power to reinforce this system, including powerful governmental actors, wealthy power brokers, and everyday individuals making seemingly innocuous and small decisions, have used many tools over the years to contain these destructive markets in Kensington, including one dating back to the 1980s using targeted policing that sanctioned sales and use within Kensington, while cracking down heavily on them around its borders, ensuring that the dealing did not spread to other neighborhoods. Police have acknowledged this history in private meetings, but it's never been officially recognized. Another tool has been a version of NIMBYism that, intentionally or not, has worked in an almost coordinated manner across neighborhoods and nearby counties. These surrounding areas outside of the city have a long and well-documented history of using zoning and other techniques to keep out affordable housing, shelters, drug treatment, and locations for distributing related medical supplies. When any efforts have been made to place infrastructure for those struggling with addiction in other areas, those pushing NIMBY policies spring into action. The rapid meltdown of a plan to place an overdose prevention site in South Philadelphia reveals how quickly neighborhoods will respond, though one must wonder how dedicated the city was to placing anything there if it didn't even bother to have conversations with these neighbors ahead of time. Another prominent example is the distribution of syringe disposal cans. I sat in meetings with city officials when they proposed these as a solution to the proliferation of needles all over our neighborhood. They did not explore expanding needle exchange programs throughout the city to stop concentration within the neighborhood or announce partnerships with outside counties to meet the needs of those using injection drugs near their homes. They put these bins at each L stop in Kensington and one in McPherson Square and declared it a success.